founder of Epiphany Azinge Foundation, what really informed the establishment of the foundation?
Yes, having traversed the corridors of the academia for the greater part of my life, and also having engaged in administrative undertakings also the greater part of my life up till now, as an administrator one way or the other, I feel that at this stage and at this point in time it is only proper that I should also, one, give back to the society that have brought me thus far, and secondly, see how I can also utilize my wealth of experience and the opportunities that I've gained in my life to also give back to society in many ways than one. So this foundation basically is anchored on a series of objectives, and most of those objectives, without sounding immodest, are laudable, and I believe that when clearly identified and articulated upon, we can consider them to be such that will be very, very beneficial to the society at large. Or it is important to highlight some of them that I consider salient and very, very significant. The hub of the litany of objectives will include the issue of promotion of academic values, educational advancement and pursuit of excellence in our universities and in our nation. Then I consider the issue of promoting patriotism and nationalism through identifying and recognizing persons who have proven their actions and records to be detribalized Nigerians as very significant. And then of course we talk about committing to vigorously alleviate the suffering of widows in any form. And then of course another one I consider important is to see how we can address the issue of promotion of work ethics in the public sector in Nigeria, with a view to reinvigorating patriotic fervor, dignity of labor, and hard work. So in principle, these are the highly sifted and distilled objectives that we have put across, that hopefully this foundation will continue to address as we progress, and then also make sure that we interrogate them to the best of our ability in such a way that the nation will stand to benefit immeasurably from them.
What is the commitment to the award of scholarship?
First objective that I listed, which is the promotion of educational values and advancement one way or the other, and trying to help to ensure that indigent students with talents are not sidelined in the scheme of things in this country. There are so many children in this country and all over the world, but with particular emphasis in Nigeria, that if given the opportunity will become tomorrow the Bill Gates of this world, amongst others. So we must give them that opportunity. The fact that they are indigent from poor environment, it should not be an obstacle or an impediment, so to speak. So this foundation is determined that given the resources available, and if we're able to source funds for that purpose, that we'll make sure that we identify and make sure that those people that we have identified are given the opportunity and the pride of place to pursue their educational goals to the best of their ability.
17. You have elaborate plans for the inauguration. Please brief us on your action plans for that day.
Well, the inauguration will be kickstarting with a lecture which is anchored on one of the objectives, which is the promotion of nationalism and also the pursuit of detribalization amongst the people of this country. As you know, we are now at a very critical juncture in our national life, with hate speeches and centripetal forces pulling in different directions, and we have a lot of divisive tendencies that seem to be trying to engulf our whole environment. So I consider that this is the right time for us to continue to interrogate some of those issues that I think will bring us closer as a people, better than all those issues that seem to divide us as a people. So for this inauguration, we have formulated a theme which is Nigeria in search of a detribalized race. And we have invited no less a personality than the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Most Reverend Dr. Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, to lead a discussion on that theme, Nigeria in search of the tribalized race. And then there are also an array of very, very eminent and distinguished Nigerians who are also lined up to also serve as panelists and discussants thereafter. Most of these are very, very accomplished people. We have Senator Dr. Epiphany Azinge, the governor of Delta State, as one of them. We have His Excellency Mr. Donald Duke, former governor of Cross River State. We have His Excellency Tunde Fashola, former governor of Lagos State, now Minister of Housing, Power and Works, as one of them. We have our good friend Femi Falana as one of them. We also have another distinguished Nigerian lady, Senator Grace Bent, who is also a committed advocate of detribalization and has a book to her credit in that regard. We have His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi as one of them, and also we have Professor Awalu Yadudu, who is a committed scholar and a clear-minded Harvard scholar whose articulation cannot be taken for granted. And then last but not the least, we have His Excellency the Right Honorable Aminu Tambuwal, CFR, the incumbent governor of Sokoto State. These are all the people that will thereafter interrogate the paper to be presented by Bishop Hassan Kuka. And I believe that it should be food for thought for all of us and for all Nigerians that we are trying to key into this at this point in time, and for us a way of making our own contribution towards the unity of this country, that and also the advancement of and propagation of the fact that Nigeria's unity should continue to be indivisible and indissoluble, as the case may be. But that will not be the end. We also have mapped out arrangement for awards. The number may sound a little bit difficult because we are hoping to give awards to about 50 Nigerians. We have pegged it at 50. Mark you, in a nation of about 200, almost 200 million Nigerians, 50 role models is totally insignificant. And it is going to be a one-off, so it is not going to be an annual ritual. But we consider by their lifestyle, by their contributions to the nation building, by their disposition in office, amongst other things, people that we consider really, really, really detribalized Nigerians. And we want to use them as a point of contact to make sure that many other Nigerians key into this, and by so doing, make them the role models that will become the catalyst for other people trying to embark on such a journey. Bearing that tag as a mark of honor, as a badge of distinction, is something that every Nigerian will want to identify with and cherish closely. We want to now make them the ambassadors and the symbols of excellence as far as the tribalization is concerned, and that will surely form the high point of the occasion. And I must confess that a good number of Nigerians have keyed into this. We have former presidents that have given their acceptance and given their indication that they will be in attendance. So for us, we feel that clearly it will become the high point of the whole engagement. Consider that as part of this inauguration, we may be in a position to also publicly present 2 books. 2 of them in the area of law, which seem to be my forte, and we're thinking of a book in the area of class action litigation, which is a public interest issue that should obviously excite and interest most Nigerians. And I also want to use that to bring out from the law firm stable a book that will also be an outlet for scholars, those who are coming behind us, and is going to be named Azinge's Journal of International and Comparative Law. I think the maiden edition will also be put out on that day. So these are a few of the highlights of what we plan to do on that day to celebrate the foundation, and they also try to inaugurate the members of the scholarship board of the foundation, which should be chaired by a very good friend of mine and a close associate of mine, Professor Lawrence Ezemunye, the immediate past Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Benin, who incidentally is the chairman of the Board of Scholarship.
November is your birthday too. Are you celebrating after the inauguration?
For those who will be available. For me, the emphasis is not the birthday. Yes, it is my birthday, but the emphasis is not the birthday. The emphasis is for us to start thinking of what we can give back to society on days like that. Merrymaking is, for me, becoming outdated and out of fashion for people to use that opportunity to just celebrate themselves. But this time around, we are thinking of what we can give back to the society, what legacy we want to leave behind, what benchmarks we want to establish, amongst also how do we utilize such occasions in order to impact positively on the citizens of this country. For me, I believe that is a better, noble enterprise, and also a greater undertaking that one should try and do things that will certainly become a benchmark rather than things that will just celebrate you on a day and be forgotten thereafter.
The moment.
Well, you notice that I talked about the idea of work ethics. I believe that we have work ethics deficit in this country at this point in time. I'm sorry to say, because that is my belief. Incidentally, given my years as Chief Executive or Director General, as the case may be, and also my long interface as Special Advisor to a chain of Attorneys General amongst my other engagements in the public sector, one thing that becomes evidently clear and manifestly so is the fact that the work ethics of the average Nigerian is unbearably too poor. And for me, it is a major challenge in our search for national rebirth, amongst other things. We need to reorientate ourselves and change our mindset as far as the work ethics is concerned. I've put out a lot of letters to chief executives all over, to governors, to ministers, that I'll be prepared free of charge to come to their respective organizations if invited to speak to their people. I would bear the cost of transportation, and it will be at no cost whatsoever. All I want is to assemble the people in a venue and then give me the opportunity to address them for at least 1 hour. I believe that if we do this increasingly, we may succeed in changing the mindset of the average Nigerian to appreciate dignity of labor, to appreciate that you have to earn your salary, to appreciate that there is reward in hard work, and for us to throw overboard the whole idea of na my papa work, and to appreciate government better, because we are part and parcel of an integral part of government. Because when you pay your taxes, it is the taxpayers' money that government runs upon, apart from other resources. So you must be aware that your salary is also paid from the taxpayers' money. So you should not, in the process, imagine that you are cheating government when you try to shy away from your work duties and obviously to work below par. In the process, we will also try to educate the chief executives and members of management of such institutions how to go about ensuring that we improve work ethics one way or the other, either through performance evaluation or performance monitoring, as the case may be. So for me, This is also one thing that I believe that I need to give back to the society from my own wealth of experience and from the little I was able to gather when I was also on the seat of a chief executive of an institution. Of having lived my life to the best of my ability and tried as much as possible to mentor people to the best of my ability, and also try to give back to the society, even I am not a rich man, so to speak. But I believe that you don't need to be bustling with a lot of resources before you can give back to society. And what it portends is that you also don't need to have much more than you need in order to serve your country and to serve humanity, as the case may be. So let me just be remembered as one who came and did my best in the service of my people and in the service of my father. Well, the same way as I've spoken about the issue of legacy, I try as much as possible to think about values that are ethical, values that are edifying, values that are ennobling. These are some of the issues. I happen to have drank from the fountain of a father who obviously dwells so much on nobility of character, on integrity and honesty, as the case may be. And I have not departed from all this. And in the same way, I feel that it has stood me in good stead and it can stand other people in good stead. So all I need to do is to try and also impact one way or the other positively on current generation and the incoming generation, so that we can think of how well to better this society and also to build a Nigeria that we can all be proud of. And the support of mankind and humanity, I see a foundation that would have been fully established. I see a foundation that possibly will be promoting and establishing a citadel of learning, the form of a university. I see a foundation that certainly would have been recognized internationally and globally. I see a foundation that many will want to identify with. I see a foundation that I, if I'm still alive, will also be proud of establishing in my lifetime.
Thank you very much for having me and wishing you a successful inauguration.
Thank you very much.